Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to the YouTube channel again. So as you know that we are inside the project invoice extraction, and this is going to be the part second of my invoice extraction project inside UiPath. Let's get started guys. तो भाई ये है UiPath with Jay. Let's get started. Okay, so as you can see that we are inside the academy over here. And in the last video we developed the workflows for the dispatcher part. हम लोगों ने workflow develop किए थे, but we didn't integrate it inside of our flow. Okay, so to do that, I'll go to the framework. I'll go to init all applications. Okay, as you can see that we don't have any XAML invoked over here. So what I'll do, I'll just simply say opening app. XAML will be invoked over here. Okay, and inside the main, I'll have to check that whether we change the no, so we are having the transaction item as queue item, but we'll be using Excel or a data table to iterate all those URLs. So what we'll be doing, we'll be changing it to data row. Okay, I'll go for browse and types data row. Okay, so this is the data row over here, and I'm यहाँ पे data row मैंने यहाँ पे अपने जैसे ही मैं इसको okay करूँगा, right? So what will be done, यहाँ पे 2 exclamation marks आ जाएंगे. We'll have to remove them. How we can, first will be the nothing, just quickly delete that, save it and say nothing again. Just write nothing again in this part. ठीक है, यहाँ पे nothing दोबारा से आ जाएगा. Okay, and then I'll go over inside the get transaction workflow. I'll delete this get transaction item because we don't need the get transaction item workflow. So I'll quickly delete it. ये मैं यहाँ पे delete कर दूंगा, and I'll add 2 if conditions. Okay, I'll be adding 2 if conditions over here. So one will be the transaction number equals 1y. See, when the transaction number equals to 1, then only the Excel will be read, right? And the data table will be filtered, right? So I'll go over here and I'll say extract and filter table like this. Okay, this was having some arguments as well. Okay, so I'll quickly press refresh arguments, go over there, and out dt input we have an argument called IO, that is input output dt transaction data, which is type data table only. So this has been directly given by the UiPath to us to work with the data tables. Okay, and this is in str invoice URL. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so what if we have done, we have defined this flow in underscore str invoice URL that was inside our config file. If you directly remember, right? I'll quickly show you as well. Data config. This URL was inside of our consent parts, right? Let's see. Yeah, so consent parts, we have this specific URL. Okay, and I'll quickly copy this and go to the get transaction data. One second. Go to the get transaction data again, and over here I'll just say in config, and the key, I'll be calling the key. Okay, let's see what it has typed. Okay, it looks good. And this is an object, so I'm converting it to .to string. तो भाई यहाँ पे मैंने string में से convert कर लिया है. ठीक है, now it is giving the value inside of this part in underscore str invoice URL. Key, save, and I'll just rename this activity. Okay, with the help of summarize activity. ठीक है, dispatcher for REF extraction process. ठीक है, अगर ये ऐसा होगा तो ये यहाँ पे जाएगा, and again I'll be adding another if condition. Okay, I'll be adding another if condition, and the if condition will be in transaction number is less than equal to, see, I've already told this everything inside my RE framework expert sessions, right? So count, right? We have ऑर्गेनाइज आर ई फ्रेमवर्क एक्सपर्ट सेशन ऑल्सो फॉर यू। उसमें मैंने आपको हर चीज़ बताई है, कैसे आप डेटा टेबल में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हो, डेटा रो में कन्वर्ट सकते हो कर सकते हो। तो अगर आपने वो नहीं देखा है तो रिक्वेस्ट टू प्लीज़ गो बैक एंड सी ऑल दोज सेशंस इनसाइड ऑफ माय चैनल। ठीक है, over here it will be checking whether my specific transaction number is less than equal to my rows count. ठीक है, assign, because see, whenever we're working with a data table, this is the only way that we can use the data table to get each and every row, and by getting each and every row we will be getting the each and every transaction as well, like this. You know that index number is starting from 0, right? So we'll be defining a logic over here, and this is out underscore transaction item, like this. ठीक है, ये है, and we'll just change the argument to data row. Okay, we'll be changing the argument to data row, and you saw that the error got diminished. ठीक है, यहाँ पे भी मैं एक assign activity लगाऊंगा, so that I'll just say nothing. Okay, and over here I'll just say out score transaction item. If my this thing gets negated, all the rows are completed or used, consumed, it will directly go to nothing. And we know that when you have a nothing inside of get transaction data, we'll be directly moving to the end state. Okay, so I'll just use a summarize activity to summarize this if also. Okay, and this as well, transaction data, this as well. ठीक है, तो ये मेरा प्रॉपर हो गया यहाँ पे सेट. वी हैव सेट द गेट ट्रांजेक्शन स्टेट. I'll quickly refresh the arguments. Over here you can see that we don't have a main argument transaction data. इसको मैं यहाँ पे दूंगा transaction item like this, and I'll save it. Okay, this thing also just save it and write nothing again, and again save it. Now this thing will be done. Okay, so we don't have any error inside of our get transaction data workflow. Now let's quickly go to the process transaction state. Okay, and open the process workflow. Right, we'll delete this, we don't need this. Arguments, I'll change it to the data row. I hope you're now getting it, right? Why we are changing this to data row, right? Okay, and over here this was saved. Refresh again. Transaction item will be given as there. ठीक है, वो सब के सब आपके डेटा रो के हैं पहले से. Now you saw the error got diminished, and over here I'll have to check it to nothing, because we are already having a logic inside of set transaction status activity. ठीक है, उसके अंदर हमारी सॉरी सेट ट्रांजेक्शन स्टेटस जैमल, वी आर ऑलरेडी हैविंग इन लॉजिक टू चेक वेदर इफ इट इज नथिंग, तो इट विल नॉट गो टू द status part, right? It will not be printing the status, because see, we are not using queues inside of it. This is a process to populate the queues. We're not using the queue, we'll be using the queue inside the performer part. Okay, so this is very clear. I'll do the same over here, because see, this thing is called 3 times, that's why we'll have to do it 3 times. Okay, save. Looks good. Okay, so let's see, we don't have any error, we don't have any error or any warnings. So I'll go to the process workflow now. I'll go over here and I'll just invoke this specific XAML. Okay, let's see what we have here. In tran item. Okay, we have a in transaction item over here. Okay, the transaction item is like what is our data row now. Okay, that is why I have used the column name to get that specific cell value as well. Okay, so now what it will be doing, it will be downloading the files in my invoices folder. Right now you can see, I'll refresh it as well, that we don't have any files inside of my invoices folder, right? It is empty, nada, zero. तो अभी क्या होगा, जब मैं रन करूँगा तो it will be directly pushing all those files inside of my invoices folder as well. ठीक है, let's quickly check the arguments inside of it. The collection URL, invoice folder, invoice name. Okay, let's see, invoice folder is this. इसको भी हम लोग डाल देते हैं आपका config में. Okay, I'll put this inside of config as well. Just say this and invoice folder, copy this, paste this over here. Okay, so now we have two URLs over here. Okay, and yeah, for that, okay, so looks good. I'll just say REFIE dispatcher. Okay, and the queue folder is, quickly go to the queue. Okay, तो गाइस आई होप आपको यहाँ तक समझ में आ रहा होगा दैट ये कैसे हो रहा है, कैसे हम लोगों ने यहाँ पे लॉजिक बनाया है टू डाउनलोड ऑल दोज क्यूज, ऑल दोज इनवॉइसेस एंड चेकिंग पैरेलली, चेकिंग एज वेल दैट व्हाट इज देयर. ठीक है, क्या है यहाँ पे, वी डोंट हैव एनी क्यू. ठीक है, बट वी हैव द क्यू फोल्डर कॉल्ड डेवलपमेंट. सो वी हैव द क्यू फोल्डर डेवलपमेंट ओवर हियर. ठीक है, ऑर्केस्ट्रेटर क्यू नेम वी डोंट हैव इट राइट नाउ. हमारे पास क्या है, ये अभी नहीं है. वी डू आर नॉट हैविंग द ऑर्केस्ट्रेटर क्यू नेम ओवर हियर. ठीक है, तो व्हाट वी कैन डू, वी कैन क्विकली डिलीट दिस एंड डिलीट दिस एज वेल. वी कैन डिलीट दोस बोथ एंड यहाँ पे हम अपनी परफॉर्मर क्यू के नाम का एक क्यू बना सकते हैं एंड वी कैन से इनवॉइस एक्सट्रैक्शन क्यू. ठीक है, क्यू फॉर द performer of invoice extraction. ठीक है जी, तो वी आर नाउ रनिंग इट लाइक दिस. ओके, आई सेव इट, आई क्लोज इट. ठीक है, एंड यहाँ पे जो मेरा URL है, राइट, आई assign another URL called str invoice folder. Okay, and that folder will be passed in str invoice folder URL. पाथ लिख सकते हैं, वी कैन गिव इट अ पाथ. ठीक है, तो ये है, अभी इसको हम डालते हैं इसके अंदर, नॉट टू वरी अबाउट. ओके, सो विल बी गोइंग टू द प्रोसेस एंड saving it as well. You can see that we have a new argument. We'll be populating that specific argument from the config. In config, I'll say invoice, what was it, quickly check it again. Constant invoice folder, I'll do it as path. ठीक है, very easy. Save it, and over here I'll just say invoice folder path dot to string. Okay, so now that path is being pushed over here. Okay, in this path. Okay, this part it is pushing like this. Cool, saving it. And now let's quickly see that whether our process is running fine or not. So we'll be trying in the debug mode first, and then if it works, we'll be going towards a run mode. Okay, so now we will be downloading the but yes, we have not yet created a what to say, we not yet populated the queue with the help of add queue item. वो अभी हम नेक्स्ट स्टेप है हमारा, उसके बाद हम लोग करेंगे. फर्स्ट नाउ वी विल जस्ट be downloading the queue as well. Okay, we are just downloading the queue, downloading the invoices, sorry, my bad. Okay, so you can see that it is working, and let's see. Okay, it has opened our website. It is extracting the table as well. Okay, it has extracted the table. Now it is stuck over here. It is saying that URL does not belong to the table. Okay, I think we mentioned something other over here. 1 second. I'll just go to the extract filter data table and I'll put a breakpoint over here. Okay, I'll put a breakpoint over here like this, and I'll now quickly debug it. Also, I'll have to add a kill process also over here because we are not killing our this Google Chrome right now, right? We'll have to do a kill process as well. So we'll quickly check in the immediate panel. ये बड़ा immediate बड़ा लंबा panel हो गया है, इसको ऐसे रखते हैं अभी के लिए. So I'll say out dt input and we have invoice URL, not the URL, that's why it is failing over there. Okay, so I'll just go over here and I'll say invoice URL. Cool, now it will be working fine. ठीक है, तो मैं अब कर रहा हूँ इसको डायरेक्टली रन बिकॉज लेट्स सी. ओके, it has opened the website, scraped the data table, filtering it, and then it is directly, let's see, we have 6 items and did it refresh it? Yeah, yes, so we have something inside of invoices. Let's see. Yeah, so we have all those invoices successfully downloaded, guys. How cool is this? Right, we didn't use any click activities. We just use a vb.net method called web client. It is using a method called download file method over here. By the help of web client, we are using and downloading the invoices. How cool is this? Okay, so we have 1 2 3 4 5 6. Hence you saw that we are having 6 transactions over here. Okay, right now, so right now we are having this all 1 2 3 4 5 6. You can say we have 6 invoices, and I think that all are the same only. Let's quickly check that whether they are same or not. Okay, so one is the Indian LLC, another one is also that, I guess. Let's quickly zoom in on those. Okay, looks like that we have every Indian LLC over here as the same invoices. Okay, so 7 8 9 10 11 12, so these all are of having due date less than today's date 12/3/2025 से कम थी डेट तभी यहाँ पे ये आई हैं. Okay, so we are only getting the Indian LLC over here because we are you can say हमारे पास यहाँ पे जो dates हैं वो इसके अंदर ही आ रही हैं, that's why. ठीक है, okay, let's go. So now we are there and अब यहाँ पे क्या है, अब मुझे ऐड करना है क्यू के अंदर बिकॉज आई नीड द आईडी एंड द ड्यू डेट एज वेल. ठीक है, तो मैं क्या करूँगा, मैं एक और जैमल बनाऊंगा. क्विकली गो अनदर फॉर ए जैमल. आई से REFIE and I'll go with add items to queue or say add queue item, simple add queue. ठीक है, सिंपल रखते हैं नेम अपना, राइट. सो यहाँ पे आई विल बी यूजिंग अ add क्यू आइटम एक्टिविटी, सिंपल. ठीक है, हमारे पास जो हमारी जो क्यू का नेम है दैट इज, क्विकली चेक अगेन फॉर द क्यू नेम. okay, that is settings, inside of it invoice extraction queue, but I'll give it as there performer queue. ठीक है, तो मैं यहाँ पे I'll just say in str I'll say queue name. ठीक है, इसमें हम पास कर देंगे, ये एक आर्गुमेंट है मेरा एंड द फोल्डर पाथ इज I'll give it in str org guess creator folder path. ठीक है, ये है टू नेम्स आर हियर. ओके, नाउ इनसाइड दिस व्हाट वी नीड फर्स्ट अ ड्यू डेट. अपने को ड्यू डेट चाहिए एंड वी नीड अ वी नीड द आई डी एज वेल, और आई डी ऐसे लिख देते हैं, ठीक है। इन दोनों की वैल्यू कहाँ से आएगी वो भी अभी हम आपको बता रहे हैं, इसको हम कर देते हैं सेव। और यहाँ पे रिगार्डिंग दैट पार्ट रेफरेंस, सो वी विल बी यूजिंग लाइक, यहाँ पे हमारे पास प्रॉपर एक ट्रांजैक्शन डेटा है, ठीक है। तो व्हाट वी कैन डू, वी कैन इधर यूज अ ट्रांजैक्शन आइटम डायरेक्टली ओवर हेयर और जस्ट क्रिएट सम आर्गुमेंट्स ऑफ दैट स्पेसिफिक ट्रांजैक्शन आइटम, ठीक है। तो हम क्या करते हैं, डायरेक्टली यहाँ इसके अंदर आपका ट्रांजैक्शन आइटम लेके आ जाएंगे, ठीक है। आई क्विकली create one tran item because see now the tran item is of type data row, राइट, ये अब क्लियर हो गया होगा, इट इज़ ऑफ टाइप डेटा रो। तो यहाँ पे अगर मैं कॉलम का नेम लिखूंगा तो इट विल बी डायरेक्टली पॉइंटिंग मी टू द स्पेसिफिक पार्ट। यहाँ मैं लिखूंगा इन ट्रान नेम, एंड यहाँ आ जाएगा आपका व्हाट वाज द नेम ऑफ दैट स्पेसिफिक ड्यू डेट, ठीक है, डॉट टू स्ट्रिंग, एंड यहाँ आ जाएगा आपका इन ट्रान आइटम विल बी सेइंग एस आई डी, सिंपल, ठीक है, राइट, दिस इज डन, ओके। A variable runtime argument, delegate argument with due date, and also unique with the environment. Okay. Let's see. Not having any variable over here. Let's say like this, due date. Okay, looks good. ठीक है, तो ये मेरा add queue item activity है, but in the properties, what I'll do, I'll go to the properties. There it will be asking for a reference, and we'll be creating the queue. We'll be enabling the unique reference as well, ताकि हमसे कोई duplicacy वहाँ पे ना हो for the transaction items, ठीक है। So I'll be using as in tran item id डॉट टू स्ट्रिंग, बिकॉज आई डी इज़ वेरी यूनिक, आई डी आपकी यूनिक है, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे रेफरेंस में जाएगा आपका आई डी, एंड लुक्स गुड, बट फॉर नाउ आई जस्ट से दिस, एंड यहाँ पे आई पुट अ debug over here, and I'll just break, I just want to see that specific value that is coming inside of my flow. id is there, due date is there, okay, looks good, looks good, looks good, okay, ठीक है, looks good. So I'll save it, ठीक है, and we'll go for a retry. Okay, I will keep like this. Why this? Because it has to iterate also, देखो आप अपना iterate कर रहे हैं ना, it has to iterate, अब वो first से ही तो करेगा, right, बार बार third से तो नहीं करेगा, so that's why we are keeping it like this over here, ठीक है, looks good. So let's see whether it is adding all those items inside of queue or not, ठीक है। For that we'll have to create a queue, वही अब अपने पास queue ही नहीं है यहाँ पे, ठीक है। We'll be creating a queue over here, create a new queue, and what was the queue name that we have given over here, let's quickly check, config invoice extraction queue, cool, invoice extraction queue, and we'll be enabling the unique references as well, ठीक है। invoice extraction queue looks good, created it, invoice extraction queue, ठीक है। ये सब नाम मेरे कहाँ से आएगा, config से आएगा, इसको मैं कर रहा हूँ बंद, and going to the main, going to the process again, ठीक है, to invoke that specific XAML that we have just created, that is add queue items over here like this, ठीक है। Refreshing it, we have 3 arguments, so I'll just say transaction item, str queue name will be given from the config, I'll say invoice, or I'll say performer queue dot to string, ठीक है, I'll save it, performer queue, and over here I'll say और फोल्ड, वैसे ऊपर वाला भी ठीक था, हमने इसको डिलीट नहीं करना चाहिए था, बट चलो ठीक है, ये हम यहाँ पे रख देते हैं, और कैश ट्रेटर फोल्डर नेम, ठीक है, दैट इज डेवलपमेंट फोल्डर नेम फॉर द orchestrator, कैश मिस्टन आर, okay, saving it, orchestrator folder name it is, and open the workflow, Okay, go over the process in config or guess creator folder name dot to string, because see it's an object way, that's why we are converting it into dot to string. Okay, now let's see whether it is working or not. I'll just say run now. ठीक है, हम डायरेक्ट उसको कर रहे हैं रन यहाँ पे. वी आर नॉट ट्राइंग टू debug it now because it looks good. अभी हमारे चला है properly process till the download, it is working. ठीक है, let's see. It is iterating all through the table. अब वो न्यू आईडीज आ गई वहाँ पे, राइट. इट इज नाउ यूजिंग एज न्यू आईडीज. अब वहाँ पे क्या है, न्यू आईडीज आ चुकी हैं. ठीक है, let us see. It got completed, and let's see our queue as well, whether it has populated some data or not. Yes, you can see that we have total of 6 new items. And let's quickly see inside of our project as well. Refreshing this invoices, we have, yes, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it has, like, it has rewritten those previously invoices that were there. Okay, so with this, guys, we have successfully added all these items. See, you can see that we have what side of specific content, we have due date, and we have the id which we need to procure inside of our final csv. Okay, that we have already taken over here. Now we just need to extract the data from those invoices that we are having in our folder. Now how cool is this? We'll be using, guys, gen ai plus document understanding as well. I don't think du will be needed, but let's see if it will be needed. We'll be definitely using it over there. Okay, chali. So guys, with this, let's quickly close the video. Inside the next part, we'll be starting the performer part. Okay, and it will be also done in parts, right? So with this, quickly close the video, guys. Happy automation, keep learning and keep supporting.